Hello, welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another gigantic design from the creator Microsoft Word, and while this is very similar to the one we saw the other day or the other week even, where it's a giant red ship with a lot of moving parts on it, a lot of firepower on this thing, and while this one is called the XMA-03 Rhizanthes, which hopefully I'm saying correctly, but it's this lovely thing all the way over here. So this is an absolute ginormous ship where its sole purpose is to fly up to an enemy, grab hold of it like an angry crab claw, and then start pummeling it with all the rocket launchers, all the railguns you see in the very middle of the ship. But I believe it is better for me to show you what this thing does rather than me trying to explain it. So grab hold of my character flying around towards the very back of the ship. It's very similar to the previous ship we're going around towards a little door right over here. And like the previous ship, I have added the gravity generator on in the back here, which I'll remove later on, which just makes walking around here a lot easier to showcase. But now we come in to that door, and now we're going to realign the camera, like so. In fact, we'll use the free camera for this one. Hopefully the ship can stop moving. And now I'm going to press number 9. Well, what's going to happen is, it's going to fold all the way forwards. Like I said, it'll grip hold of the enemy, and it'll allow you to start blasting straight into it, like some kind of angry leech or angry barnacle that's just attached onto another ship. Realigning this, looking on the side, pressing number 9 again. And there we are, so we see we've got two moving parts, one on the main body, one on the sort of elbow joint, putting it forwards once again, and there we go. From behind, and once again, and there we go with that. I suppose what I can do is now come down into here, look at it like so, pressing number 9 one more time, open it up, and then closing it up, and there we go. If that was a good enough demonstration, that would go look at it like so. So one final time, so we see all the iron thrusters around this thing, then closing it up, and there we go. Okay, so I'm going to leave that open for the moment, grab on my character, fire the seat, bring him back outside once again, and it is time to press F10 and find this in the spawn menu. Typing in that, in fact what I will do is get rid of that. So there is a ship from the other day, which did require super gridding, which I did remember to do this time, so hopefully this ship will have no issues whatsoever when I go to demonstrate it later on. But no, the XMA-03 is 3,882 large blocks using a bunch of the DLC packs. We see up to here that it needs super gridding to actually make the turrets work, and it does have one hell of a lot of scripts on here, like the previous ship, to make it all function and will work correctly. Giving this thing a thumbs up, make sure I gave that one a thumbs up, yes I did. We'll go have a look around the outside. Oh, that's the wrong character, we want the free camera here. Then we'll have a proper look at the interior, fly around for a bit, then actually properly test it out, but bearing in mind that this will take a lot of damage when it grips onto another ship, which is why the creator has another version of the ship, which is much more suitable to not taking damage or holding onto stuff. So, moving a bit closer, over here in the very middle, much like the other ship, although with a lot less weapons, we've got some rocket launchers and 4 railguns to blast your enemies with. Surrounding all that, like the previous ship, we've got a bunch of red steel blocks, a bunch of grey steel blocks to make up the entire colour scheme of this ship, and then one hell of a lot of iron thrusters to move this thing around. Putting my light and coming all the way down this arm, so we see one hell of a lot of iron thrusters, moving all the way down and across. There we are, so we've got a decoy right in the middle there. Then across to the very end, we then got even more iron thrusters. There's the small little spikes made out of the slope steel blocks in a black colouring, which is how you're going to, well, pretend to actually grip hold of it. When you grab hold of the ship, these will dig into it, and well, not let go, although it won't actually work like that, most likely just blow up instantly. But no, there is that, some decoration. Move a bit closer over to here, and down below. So we've got some doors behind the doorways. And there we are, so we've got some iron thrusters, and that will open up automatically as we do change modes. Getting a bit closer over to this part, we see even more doorways around those iron thrusters. Into this section, there's our hinges to actually make it move around. Looking down into this part, we've got some steps, they'll go down to a little spotlight, but up into here, we can actually do some maintenance work on the inside if it ever took damage. And there we are once again for our doorways and iron thrusters. And we come all the way up and around. Onto this section, so on the opposite side of our arms, we've got a bunch of red concrete steel blocks. Once again, we see our decoys on each side, a little light, give it a nice red ominous glow. We've got a little strip of yellow to break it all up. There's our little joint. Across to here, more iron thrusters, more spotlights. This time we've got some barred windows in front of it that does create a nice little shadow right next to those iron thrusters. Then towards the main body, putting on my light. And there we are, so getting a bit closer over here, these are our custom weapons. The ones which require super gridding, which were the issues I had with the previous ship. So we see we've got our black armoured panel, which is around the edge here. Then when we peer in the barrel, we'll see 4 guns. These are 4 artillery guns, all strapped together with super gridding, be able to fire out at the same time and in the same place. Moving all the way up and across, there's all their bases all clamped together with a bunch of blocks on top of it to make it look like it's all one singular block. Then at the back there's the hinge to lift it up and down. Now moving away, back towards the very back of this thing. So here we are, we've got more iron thrusters, a couple beam blocks around each side, then even more iron thrusters to boost us around with a truss decoy and a truss antenna sticking out the very back. If we come all the way down and across, wherever it has gone, it should be somewhere. Wherever it has gone, I've somehow lost it. Oh, there it is. There's a doorway to get inside and actually control this thing, as well as go to the very back there, which is where I shoved the gravity generator. And I believe with that, that is probably it for the outside of this ship. So looking at it as a whole, like so, actually bring the sunlight back around. There we go, that'll have to do. Moving that around, getting a bit closer. Yes, there's our decoy at the back. There's our arms. And looking at it from the top. And then once again from the front, with the sunlight not on it. And there we go. Bring the sunlight back around once again. That's out for the outside, the XMA-03. And I do see something moving in the background there, which I hope is not a space pirate. Nope, that's a neutral ship, a military mine layer, so we're just going to ignore it for now, but that should be a perfect victim later on. But anyway, grabbing hold of my character, it's now time to come in through the back here, have a tour of the inside, which will be very, very short, then we'll actually go and test it out. So around here, wherever that door has gone, and there it is right there, inside, dropping myself down, closing up the door right above me, and this is what we get. So the back here is where I shoved the gravity generator. Looking around here, got basically nothing going on, so you can decorate this all you want with, say, DLC packs, mods, or whatever you want to have in here. Have a living quarter, have like a refinery area, depending on what you want to do with it. It's entirely up to you. But no, we want to turn around and come into this section. So this is the main area where we see the doorway right there, so we've got easy access to actually drive it around. Then surrounding all of this, we've got one hell of a lot of our corner programmable blocks. There's a lot of stuff going on here, where I'm just going to briefly touch on all of it. But anyway, dropping all the way down to here we go, so we've got all of our custom weapon controllers. Then in the front here, we then got our railgun to manually load it up, if you want to do that. Jetpacking all the way up to the top. Here we go. So into here, programmable block, we see we've got ourselves our custom turret controller. Then into the back here, we see we've got our salvo script. Moving back down to this floor, here we are on the round, we've got a radar script. Over onto this one, that looks like it is power graphs, yes it is. Then into this one, we've got artificial horizon. And into that one, we've got our subgrid thruster manager. After that, I believe that is it for the inside. It's very dark in here, so there is no lights. So yes, we've got to get into the seat, first person view, and here we go. So much like the other ship, we've got a hell of a lot of LCD screens telling us all the stuff about our ship. But down there, we see our artificial horizon, we see our power graphs, and into there is our radar script. Looking up and around, time of day, power hydrogen, meters per second, and our planetary and atmospheric gravity. So there we go. Bring up the HUD, we've only got one tab to go through, into third person view, into here first of all, finding the gravity generator, there it is, switching that off so it doesn't cause any issues when actually testing this out, and here we go with all the controls. So number 1's going for your camera right next to all your guns to precisely aim them, with number 2 and number 3 is each for your guns, fire the railguns, and then we've got our rocket launchers fire on the salvo script. We've got number 5 then for your custom turrets to turn them on and off. We've then got number 8 for your magnetic plates, which is on the end of your grippy claws, which you can just about make out next to those iron thrusters. So coming up to this one, and there they are right there. And back into this view. Here we go. And then got number 9 for your transformation system. When you press that, you fold all the way forwards, grip hold of the enemy, and then start blasting with the rocket launchers. There we go. I can foresee a lot of damage happening to the end of those claws. That is to be expected, which is once again why the creator made a separate version, which is a bit more durable. Press that once again, and there we go. Realign the camera and now actually driving this thing around, and now I want to find that military mine layer wherever it has gone. It might have just flown away, I'm not too sure where it is now. So I suppose we'll fly this thing around, they'll just go and teleport over to it. So hiding all the signals, moving forwards, here we go with it open, so as you can see there we are very, very slow. Making it go into its little clampy mode, moving forward once again, it feels a little bit faster. Open that up, come to a stop. We are a lot better come to a stop with that, as you saw there it just suddenly jump all the way down the bunch. The moving left, moving right, moving down, moving up incredibly slow while open, but while we're closed, feels a little bit faster, there we go. And it's especially fast moving forwards, which is jolly good stuff. I'll do that one more time, moving forwards, opening up, and there we go, just suddenly jumps down as it loses a bunch of speed. As for gyroscope controls, moving around here, it's got a surprising amount of control over it, whether it's open, whether it's closed. It's just very, very responsive for such a large and complicated ship. out of the camera view, moving away, doing it one more time. And there we go. But I suppose that is to be expected from a ship that's meant to fly up to an enemy and grip hold of it. You don't want to be too sluggish, because the ship you're trying to grab hold of might be able to escape your clutches, and we'll go report it back to base and have a bunch of ships come and attack you. But no, we're going to leave that open, and I'm going to go through the spawn menu, find a suitable target that we're actually going to go test out. And so here we go. What I've got is a very small little victim to grip hold of and hopefully blast. In the background there was the Albatross, because that was my original intention, but as you can see there was an unidentified transport ship which is a Factorium escort, which decided to ruin everything. They started blasting me with railguns, rocket launchers, and well, it became quite a mess. But no, we're going to do this for the demonstration, come all the way up to it. I fiddled with the hinges, make sure they don't go too fast to actually blow themselves up. And we're going to keep going all the way forwards up to this. You might see that hinge is wobbling around there, because that is because I lowered the actual force behind them. That might be a problem, that might cause a bit of damage to the ship, but it should not matter. And here we come all the way up to it. Once we get suitable distance, I'll then press number 9, close it all up. And there we go, that should be suitable range. Pressing number 9, coming out the camera view, and we should grip hold of it. There we go. And once we've gripped hold of it, I can now press number 2, fire straight into it. And there we go, now absolutely blasted it. Back into this view, and watching it fly away into the distance. There we go. And yes, as you can see there, I did take a little bit of damage on the left-hand side. Not too much you can actually do about that, because that is just the way Space Engineers works. No, we just do that, open it up, and we'll go grip on it one more time. Yes, it would be a bit better using the upgraded version, where it does use more durable blocks to actually make it properly function, or just using a world where block destruction is turned off, where you can actually grab holders up properly, and actually engage a magnet in place, and blast straight into it. But of course, you won't be able to destroy anything with the guns, but block destruction would be turned off. As for that, it's a fantastic looking ship, and it's always a joy to actually see what this creator cooks up with their gigantic ships with moving parts. So be linked to it in the description below to download and play it yourself. I highly recommend you do. I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.